Right then, Muck, peace. So as you can see, I got Elvira on the lift. If you watched any of my videos, you know Elvira. Working on draining the radiator. And you might say, why, Muck? Why? Why would you drain the radiator? Well, I've managed to get some stuff. And in order to put that stuff on, you need to drain the radiator. So let's take a quick tour of my stuff. So here we have an Edelbrock Air-Gap intake, Edelbrock heads. These are the E210s with the 208 160 valves in them. We have a Jet Performance Quadrajet because, you know, I thought I'm going to try to stay with the Quadrajet. Hydraulic roller cam, comp cam. Show you what it is there if you can see it. Yeah, that one. Rockers, bolts, all kinds of stuff for the engine. And then on this shelf, I got stuff I'll get to later. I got transmission stuff over here, air conditioning stuff over there, and in the middle I got just a little bit of interior stuff. And then I got new seats over here. Oh, and I got new manifolds. So yeah, I'm kind of concentrating this weekend on motor stuff, and we'll see what happens. So I got my antifreeze draining into my cleanest dirty bucket, and hopefully I can reuse it because I'm poor now. I was poor before, but now I'm poorer. So, but anyway, this should wake the old 350 up pretty good. You know, I'd say my average with my little quarter mile checker on this guy is about a 15-second quarter mile, 15 flat, 15 20, somewhere through there. So that's going to give me an idea of what I gain according to what she weighs and what I weigh and all that kind of crap. The motor right now is sitting at like 220 horse. So the heads have a smaller combustion chamber. That's going to raise my compression. I want to be up around about 9.5 to 1. And then the cam will actually drop my compression pressure a little bit because it's a little bigger cam, but it's also going to scavenge the cylinder better. So should be good. It should be a good offset of everything. The cam's not huge. It's 218 at 050, 224, 495, 505 lift. Not huge. Not huge. I didn't want huge. I'm looking to, you know, shift it 55, 5600 like I always have, and let it eat and not destroy the drivability, you know. So she should be very streetable. Her idle shouldn't be bad. I should carry good vacuum, blah, blah, yada, yada, yada. Good flowing heads, good flowing intake. Really curious about this Jet Performance carburetor. You know, one of these days I'd like to supercharge this car. So that'll go away then. But for now, let's give it a shot. I've never been a big Quadrajet guy. I've always liked Holleys. And, you know, this car had a Quadrajet on it when I got it. It was a good Quadrajet. It performed well. I was looking online trying to figure out what I wanted to go to. And I was like, I'm going to give it a shot. Jet Performance carburetor. Let's give it a shot. So yeah, I'll probably show you a few things on the Edelbrock heads that I like and don't like. And we'll get to all that. So anyway, that was way longer open than I needed. And you guys are bored out of your mind. So I'll be back. The tail of spark plugs. You can see some of these were different brands, and that's because I had to change them out at one time or another because they fouled out. So this is my cylinder that's leaking so bad. So this cylinder passed a compression test and a leak down test. So that makes me think the guides and the head's bad. So this is more what a plug should look like. See, you got that kind of tawny brown. Let's look at some of these others. You know, burning a little bit of oil, but not horrible. You know, there you got the tawny brown. That one's burning really pretty well. So So yeah, this is why the car's getting new heads. So hopefully that takes care of my valve guide issue and my oil issue. It doesn't smoke on occasion when I start it up, and doesn't foul any more plugs. Fingers crossed. So no cleaning so far. I got the heads off, the intake off. You can see I got everything off. I just gotta get up there now and get the pulleys off, harmonic balance off, and all that so I can get to the cam. I don't really think you missed anything me pulling this apart, but yeah, it's actually pretty clean. It looks pretty good. So heads actually look pretty good. Yeah, next is just more pulling apart. I see people all the time talk about trying to remove lifters and having trouble removing lifters. I just use a magnet. Ta-da. So there we go. Several cans of brake clean. It'll be ready to go back together. Shoo! That's a job. I don't know. All basic tools, hand tools, blah, blah, yada, yada, yada. Get it down to that point. I've probably got 3 hours. 3 hours of working on it. I'd run to town. I ran to town, got a water pump. Goofed around the side. I hadn't got a water pump yet, so I was like, I better change that while I'm in here. The only problem I have is right there. So I didn't drop the oil pan. Sometimes you can get that dude to pop off and, you know, work around that oil pan lip without having to drop it loose. It works better if you don't have a really old gasket to, you know, take your oil pan bolts loose, and you can get that little bit of wiggle, and then you can pop that off without having to pop the oil pan all the way off. Didn't work for me. So I didn't want to take the bolts loose, because sometimes you can actually get it without, you just got to pop it off the pins. Once you get it off the pins, you can generally go. So, but I got the piece. I think it's going to be Silicone City, and I'm going to see how bad it leaks. If it doesn't leak, then I'll leave it. If it leaks, I'll get an oil pan gasket, and you'll see a video on that. Do some chatting here. So we got everything cleaned up. We got the roller cam set in. We had to put the timing set on. Now we're getting ready to set the roller button in, and then I got to find my dial indicator so I can get my back and forth, which is supposed to be like 0.004 to 0.01. So that's the next step. All right, so I soaked my lifters so I can put them in here. And your little dog boning, see the dog bone? The dog bone has to go out. I've never done this, but you know, I'm trying. Like that.
Pretty.
Isn't that awesome? And we also dumped a gallon of oil in here, so I make sure I don't forget to put oil in it and start it dry, because it would happen. So here are the heads. We had a little snafu. I had to go scrounge some bolts off a local machine shop because I bought big block bolts. But see, here's my only complaint about these heads. See how they got this? I kind of like, but then they got a little lip right there. See that little lip? But they're supposed to be cut to match the gaskets and all of that. So I guess they're okay. But 3/8 studs, guide plates, should be good to go. Getting ready to go on. We'll see how it goes. So we got some studs, because we got kind of a mix mash set going on, but that's okay. We got 4 studs over here, 3 studs over there. My little helpers trying to drop the head on anyway. Where you at? It's the manifold in the way. There you go. Yeah. You need to lean it this way a little bit, looks like, and then it will go on. This over here is hitting too. There we go. I don't know how people get them on there when they got full studs on. There's a bracket on the back side of that head. It could be hitting on too.
It is, because it's actually sitting on it out there.
There we go. Look how pretty. You need to go back where it looks like. We need the dipstick in your way. I'll just move it that way a little bit. It still might be in the way. It needs to go back some. Up. Hot diggity. Dog diggity.
Ready to start.
Woo! So here lays all the bolts. Thread sealer for all the bolts, because most of them go in, well, they all go into some form of water jacket, so you want to seal them so you don't have a leak for sure. I had to flatten 2 sides of my washer to fit between these 2 valves. See, it's not got much room there, so that's the fix. So now we're torquing, and I'll show you over here. So we're going in 3 steps. We're going 20, and then we're going 45, and then we're going 65. I don't know if you can see. So started here, went down here, come up here, went down here, come up here. And he's going to go back over to here. Well, he's actually going to go to here, and then up to here, and then over to here. So, one big continuous flip-flop. Or you can look at the pictures and get it. But generally you can go in a circle or an X, depending. Yeah, but yeah. So there we go. Heads are getting torqued. Any questions? Sorry, no answers. So we got the full roller rockers on. We got the push tubes in. You can see, look at all that. So that's what we're going to work on now. So we're going to take them to 0 lash, which we're just going to do by feel. So he's going to tighten it down a little looser, right there. Yep, right there. So just got a little drag on it, and then he's going to take it a 1/4 turn. Here's his 1/4 turn. Now he's going to lock it, and then he's going to turn them both together just a little bit to make sure that lock's good and tight. A little back off just a smidge. I like there better, I think. Okay, and then we're going to rotate the engine 90 degrees. So we're going to pull the ratchet all the way up to the top. Rotate it until it's flat out again. Careful not to come off the bolt. And that'll put number 8, because that's the next one in the firing order, ready to go. So all right, here's where we're at. Both my helpers are gone. Is going to replace that carburetor. So I'm gonna send that carburetor back. He went to get a new carburetor. I'm going to a Holley because I ordered the wrong manifold. They make a quadrajet version. I did not order it. I ordered the square bore version. Thought I ordered the quadrajet version, but you know, I get excited, I poke numbers and you know, all that. Didn't order what I wanted. So so he went to get that. And then we noticed this. So this side up, if you line the holes up, you're real close to running out of room here. So look, okay, holes lined up, boop, holes lined up, boop. So my other helper went to get gaskets that have a bigger flange, Felpro 1206s. So yeah, so I'm gonna work on putting the radiator in, and you know, everybody else is going to get stuff. So yeah, busted my butt to have this fired up today. I mean, that's my goal. So I got it fired up today. I tore it down yesterday, put everything back together today. 2 days, heads, cam, intake, carburetor. So hopefully the Holley that I'm getting I can make work, and don't need a lot of linkage issues. I'm a little worried about that, but we'll see. You know, right now everything's been going really smooth. We got all the valves set. We just need to put stuff together, crank it over without firing it up so it builds up some oil pressure, and then we should be ready to roll. So close, yet so far away. Calling it a night. I'm freaking beat. It's dark outside. I'm hungry. I haven't had supper. I don't even know what time it is. Let me show you where I'm at. So here we got all of this bolted together. I got to tighten some bolts up. I got to tighten my fan belt up. I got to run my hose for my water. I got my distributor drop, but I got to put my wires on. I got to put my plugs in. And then the biggest thing is my valve covers don't fit. So I got to figure out what the deal is there and see what I can do. And I'll try to get her tomorrow. I go to fire it up. I might go live. I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll go from there. Yeah. Talk to you later. My brother can attest. This car, number 5 spark plug, hardest spark plug to do. Look at this. Watch. Oh. 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 If I didn't have a wobble socket on, it had already been started. Oh. You wasn't getting much, but how about that? I watched him try to change that plug, and it took him, you know, hours. And then I think I had to do it. So, yeah. Boom! So I'm gonna lay some distributor and cam knowledge on you real quick. Distributor, cams down there. Okay, I changed the cam. I just learned something. So when I went mark to mark on the cam, and maybe I knew this before, but I didn't remember it. But when I went to mark on the cam, you'd think you'd be ready to drop your distributor in, right? But no, you would be 180 out. The reason you would be 180 out is because when you drop that distributor in, and you had the cam mark to mark, then the cam is actually between your intake and your exhaust. So that's 180. So you have to rotate that engine all the way over one turn, and then you're on the back side of the cam where that would be top dead center compression. Boom, drop it in there. Golden. You ever wonder what the majority of a gallon antifreeze looks like in the carpet? Yeah, there it is. So, you know, my new aluminum heads, They have a port for a coolant sensor on both sides. Yeah, I should have thought of that. That needs a plug. There's going to be some people, and they're going to say, I can't believe he drills a hole in his inner fender well like that. And I'm going to say, I can't believe you don't. Geez, that's easy. All right, I'm far from prepared, but I think everything's hooked up. Coolant system's full, oil's full, fuel's already been pumped up because I got an electric fuel pump, so we was messing with that yesterday fixing leaks, so I don't have any leaks. I got my distributor dropped in yesterday, got my plug wires set up, got them semi-wired out of the way, got the exhaust on, valve covers on, yada, yada, yada. So, I'm going to try to prop you guys up here, and let's see what the first start looks like. What do you say? I think she's going to fire right up and run. No problems at all. All right, so now I'll let the smoke dissipate, so I can check all my fluids, make sure my head's sealed up good, don't have water in the oil or something, but yeah. So all the smoke is just a product of cleaning, oil, all that kind of crap. New parts. I heard a little something. I don't know if it's oil leakage or something else, but I'll be looking it over. If I see something, I'll holler at you. All right, I think I got all my little things figured out. We'll see if it'll start up. And ooh, my throttle pedal's really stiff. Can't tell if it's hitting wide open throttle, to be honest. Sounds like I got a lifter just a smidge loose, maybe. And that could be an exhaust leak. It's not the smartest to take a test drive at night, but rub it in the steering. I won't be able to get on it really hard because it's wet outside. And it feels pretty normal so far. So it downshifted, but I don't know if that's wide open throttle. I'm gonna have to get somebody in the seat and me under the hood to tell. So Studebaker has a throttle that it's like spring loaded, so it stretches, and I may have too much spring pressure now and be stretching that throttle. But spinning way harder than I thought it was. I felt it catch. It'd have helped to turn dash lights on so I could see how fast I was going, but you know, I didn't. Yeah. I don't know, it feels pretty good, but not as impressive as I was hoping yet. But like I said, I'm not sure it's getting wide open throttle, to be honest. I gotta figure out how to figure that out. I either gotta just loosen up my spring tension and see, or get somebody in the car to figure it out. I'm worried about this car coming up behind me. Just, you know, I'm turning, and people tend not to pay attention. But nothing's sticking, nothing's hanging. So that's good. Drivable again. 3 days, drivable. Nice. All right, all I need to do is check the throttle. I think it idles too high. I just messed something up. Oh. Well, I blew that heater hose to crap. Guess that'll teach me to rev in the garage, but better in the garage than you know, out and about. I got antifreeze everywhere. Jeez. You know what I mean? That was a new hose. I mean, it's not like it was old. So, not driving it to work tomorrow. So I was correct on my throttle. So if you look at this, this is a spring inside a spring. So when it hits wide open throttle or so much pressure, this lengthens. So I've actually got it set now so it'll actually hit wide open throttle and there's still a little pedal left, so it actually lengthens a little bit. Watch it. See that little bit of lengthen? If it's got too much spring pressure, it'll do that. I had 2 springs on this for return springs. So I took one off, and that has solved my problem for the moment, but I was right in saying that I wasn't getting wide open throttle, because I wasn't. So I was getting about 3/4 throttle, but it's still downshift because I've got a turbo 400, and you know, so right there's my downshift button. So because it would lengthen that shaft, that would go ahead to downshift, push the button, downshift, blah blah, yada yada yada. So yeah, it wasn't hitting wide open throttle. I got water back into it. I just spliced the hose for now. I don't see anything else wrong. So I think it's about time for test drive again. All right, so took Elvira for a little drive. Right away I noticed the throttle was kind of a pain in the butt, really stiff. I'm gonna have to work on that. But performed well, drove well. So my average before I started all this, 0 to 60 was about 6.8, 6.9 seconds. First run out, 5.5. That's a big deal. That's a change. So, yeah, we'll get some tuning done and see if I can get some better numbers, but I got to work on that throttle and all that, so I might do another video on what I have to do there, and we'll go from there. So yeah, I think I can easily drill out the throttle plate and move the throttle linkage up a little bit, get a little more leverage, and hopefully still hit wide open throttle. So anyway, yeah, until next time, Redneck Mutt, peace.